If you're a Maple Leafs fan, hold on tight because the team has just made a bold move that could completely change the NHL title race. But was this gamble worth it, or did Toronto take too big of a risk? Time is ticking, and the long-awaited Stanley Cup dream can't be delayed any longer. The Leafs management knows this and decided to act aggressively at the trade deadline. The result? The arrival of two reinforcements who could transform the team, Scott Laughton and Brandon Carlo. But the burning question is, was this a strategic move or an act of desperation? The price of victory. To bring in Laughton, Toronto had to give up a valuable asset, a 2027 first-round pick, and the promising prospect Nikita Greenan, sent to the Philadelphia Flyers. The good news? The Flyers agreed to retain 50% of Laughton's salary, making the deal more affordable for the Leafs. On top of that, Toronto also received 2 extra draft picks, an unexpected bonus that could be useful in the future. Laughton may not be a superstar, but he is exactly the type of player who makes a difference when the game gets tough. With playoff experience and the versatility to play both center and wing, he brings that warrior mentality that every team needs in the postseason. So far, he has 27 points in 60 games, balancing offense and defense well. But that was just the first piece of the puzzle. Toronto was also determined to strengthen its defense and made a bold move to acquire Brandon Carlo from the Bruins. To finalize this deal, the Leafs gave up young Fraser Minnon and another first-round pick. And an important detail, the Boston Bruins also agreed to retain 15% of Carlo's salary. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and 218 pounds, Carlo brings a new level of stability to Toronto's defensive system. This move, combined with the acquisitions of Chris Tanev and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, shows that the Leafs are committed to not repeating past defensive mistakes. But how did Toronto manage to fit these contracts under the salary cap? Simple. They cleared space by sending Connor Timmins and Connor Dare to the Penguins and placing Ryan Reeves on waivers, assigning him to the affiliate team. Are the Leafs ready for the playoffs? On paper, the team looks more balanced than ever. The offense remains lethal with Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and John Tavares, now with added depth thanks to Laughton. The defense, which was a weak point, has been reinforced with Carlo, Tanev, and Ekman-Larsson. But the big question is, will it be enough? The answer may lie in future contracts. Matthews and Nylander are locked in long-term, but Marner and Tavares have yet to renew. If Toronto doesn't win the title now, the team could undergo a major shakeup next season. And don't think the Leafs were the only ones making moves. Their Eastern Conference rivals also placed their bets. The Tampa Bay Lightning brought back Yanni Gourde and added Oliver Bjorkstrand to an already dangerous offense. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers spared no effort, reinforcing their defense with Seth Jones and acquiring a new goaltender, Vitek Vanecek. But the biggest bombshell of the trade deadline came at the last second. The Panthers shocked the NHL by acquiring Bruins captain Brad Marchand. This move ignited the battle for the top of the conference. With the Leafs, Panthers, and Lightning loading up, the playoffs are set to be a war. Toronto sent a clear message. The goal is to win now. The team didn't hesitate to sacrifice picks and young talent to become a true Stanley Cup contender. But will that be enough to finally break the curse? What do you think, Leafs fans? Did Toronto make the right move, or did they pay too much in their title pursuit? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you've made it this far, you already know. Subscribe to Leafs News Fan Report, turn on notifications, and stay updated on all NHL news. And don't miss the video on the side with more analysis on the latest trade rumors. Looking at Toronto's moves, there are a lot of positives. The team managed to strengthen 2 crucial areas, defense and offensive depth, without compromising too much of its financial future, as the Flyers and Bruins agreed to retain part of Laughton and Carlo's salaries. This allowed the Leafs to maintain some flexibility, which is essential for a team already facing salary cap challenges. But not everything is perfect. Management gave up 2 first-round picks and 2 promising young players, which could be a long-term issue. The big question now is, if the Leafs don't win the Stanley Cup this season, were these trades worth it? In recent years, Toronto has built competitive teams but has always stumbled in the playoffs. This time, there are no excuses. The defense is stronger, the offense has depth, and the team is going all in. What's missing for it to finally work? The keys to the Leafs' playoff success. Now that the trade deadline is passed, what does Toronto need to turn this investment into a championship run? Keycap 1 chemistry needs to develop quickly, With new pieces in the lineup, head coach Sheldon Keefe has little time to adjust the team before the playoffs. Laughton and Carlo's integration with the squad will be crucial. Keycap 2 defense must be dominant. In recent years, the Leafs have been criticized for lacking a consistent defense in key moments. With Carlo and Tanev reinforcing the back end, that excuse no longer exists. Now it's time to prove that this defensive unit can shut down opposing offenses. Keycap 3 stars need to shine. Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and Tavares are the pillars of the team, but in past seasons, Toronto's offense has disappeared in crucial moments. With a more balanced roster, they need to step up and make a difference when it matters most. Keycap 4 consistent goaltending. The last line of defense for any championship team is the goalie. If Toronto wants to go far, it needs solid performances from its netminders. Ilya Samsonov and Joseph Woll must be at their best. Keycap 5 a championship mindset. This may be the biggest question. The team is used to making the playoffs, but the real issue is, does Toronto truly believe it can win? The addition of experienced players like Laughton and Carlo could be the key to shifting the mentality and turning a talented team into a true contender. The last chance before a major overhaul? And what if Toronto doesn't win? That's the big fear for fans. If the Leafs suffer an early playoff exit, the consequences could be drastic. We could see coaching changes, a new front office approach, and possibly even the departure of key players like Marner or Tavares. That means this could be the last big chance for this core group to win a Stanley Cup together. The pressure is higher than ever, and any mistake could be costly. The Leafs did what the fans wanted. They were aggressive and loaded up for the playoffs. But hockey isn't won on paper, and now it's up to the team to prove it can overcome past failures and show that it has what it takes to be a champion. Now I want to hear your opinion. Did Toronto make the right choice by going all in this season, or should they have been more cautious? Were the changes enough to compete for the Stanley Cup? Leave your comment below, and let's discuss. And don't forget to subscribe to Leafs News Fan Report, turn on notifications, and leave a like to keep receiving the latest NHL trade updates. As a Leafs fan, I see this front office strategy as a necessary but risky move. The franchise has suffered years of playoff frustration, always building competitive regular season teams but failing in crucial moments. So I completely understand the now or never mentality from management. Looking at the trades, I think Scott Laughton might be an underrated player who can add a lot, especially in the postseason. He has playoff experience, is versatile, and brings that warrior mindset that always seems to be missing in Toronto's toughest moments. But is he enough to change the team's identity? That's the big question. As for Brandon Carlo, I really like this move. The Leafs have struggled defensively in recent years, and Carlo adds size, physicality, and stability to the blue line. His combination with Chris Tanev and Oliver Ekman-Larsson might be exactly what Toronto needed to avoid the defensive collapses that have cost them playoff series. However, I'm concerned about the price paid. 2 promising young players and 2 first-round picks are a steep cost, especially since Carlo and Laughton aren't superstars. If Toronto doesn't win now, these sacrificed picks could hurt in the future. So as a fan, my take is this. It was a necessary risk, but it will only pay off if Toronto makes a deep playoff run. If the Leafs get eliminated early, this could end up being a disaster. It's all or nothing now.